Hey, brother. Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Brother mine. Brother mine. Brother mine. Brother mine. Brother mine. Brother mine.
Brother mine. Brother. Hey, brother. Brother. Brother, I come before you because I want to speak to the things of my soul. I feel like the best conversations that I ever have are when I have been thinking about something for a long time and I don't really know what I think and it's jumbled around in my head, and then I say it. When I think about the characteristics of those best conversations that I have, the things that I say come out with significant clarity when I'm talking to somebody whose perspective I care about because I want to communicate with them. And to my brother, I want to be able to reflect on things that I'm thinking about with you. And the thing that has been most top of mind today is self-acceptance. I think that so much of my obstacles in life are caused by a deep sense of self-loathing, feels like too aggressive of a word, but self-dissatisfaction. I have been reading a book. I read books, many books. The book that I have been reading is called The Courage to Be Disliked. I will not attempt to pronounce the author's name out loud, but I enjoy the author very much, regardless of my inability to speak Japanese. So The Courage to Be Disliked is a book about Alfred Adler. Alfred Adler is the father of Batman. No, Alfred the Butler. No, Alfred Adler is not Alfred the Butler. Alfred Adler is the father of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which is a big deal, I've heard. The book, The Courage to Be Disliked, is a dialogue between an elderly professor and a young student, classic trope. The conversation that they have is about Adlerian philosophy. Now, number one, I've not finished the book. Number two, I've been reading the book on and off for the course of several months. So number three, I'm not that smart. So this is Adlerian philosophy according to Kyle. My takeaway from the book is that number one, all problems are interpersonal problems. What does that mean? The perspective of the book is that all of the pain that we have, that pain comes from the value that we assign to our relationship with others and the dynamic between us. Number two, trauma doesn't exist, which is a hot take.
Hot take alert.
Trauma doesn't exist. What trauma is the emotional value that we ascribe to things that have happened to us in the past. And we can choose to change that value system. Granted, I'm not live or die by that. I don't know. But the idea is all problems are personal problems. Trauma doesn't exist. Every issue that we have comes from a misunderstanding of tasks. And the most important thing that you can do is a separation of tasks in your life. So what does that mean? The way the book describes it, each person has tasks that are theirs and tasks that are other people's. And our biggest problems come from when we try to insert ourselves into other people's tasks or when other people try and insert themselves into our tasks. And instead, what we should be focused on is what is your task? And the definition of a task is who ultimately bears responsibility for the consequences of the action. The example that helps me think about it, a child studying for school. Studying for school is the child's task. Being available to help is the parent's task. When we try and insert ourselves and say, we're going to make you study, that causes problems and conflict. When we say, when you're ready, I'm here, ready to help you, that is us taking on our tasks. And when we worry about, well, if my kid fails, I'm going to be sad for them, choosing how to feel about our children's educational outcomes, that's our task. But engaging in education is our children's task. Or if like you're worried about, if you suck at school, I will be embarrassed at the PTA, the feeling of your kid sucks at school is the other parent's task. How they react to your child's education is their task. It's not your task. And you can't take upon them, like you, that task and worry about what other people think. You have to be focused on your task. So hence the name, The Courage to Be Disliked, is your ability to remove yourself from the expectations of others. I think this also is true of the broader world, is as we worry too much about the world around us, that becomes an undue weight on our shoulders. That then leads me to think about another idea that is very popular with our father, the handsome man that he is. This idea comes from Stephen Covey, at least articulated this way, which is these sort of like spheres of control, a sphere of influence, and a sphere of concern. And the more time that we spend paying attention to our sphere of awareness, the more helpless we feel because we can't control those things, we can't influence those things. Instead, what we should be focused on is number one, exceeding at the things that we have control over within our sphere of control. And then number two, expanding our sphere of control further into our sphere of influence. So it's not just things that we can sort of influence, but it's things that we can increasingly control. But there are always going to be things outside of your control. And so you can only expand that so much. So you really need to just focus on what are the things that I can control and having as positive a do influence as you can. I was telling that to a friend recently because I had an experience. So I had a dinner party.
Remember, when in doubt, pinky out.
I had a dinner party with a few friends, and one friend was asking me what I thought about politics and the different things that are going on. And I said, you know what? I'm just here for the memes. The jokes are good. I'm just here for the jokes. And a little bit jokingly, but there's a little bit of truth to every JK. My friend responded, man, what a place of privilege. And that hurt my feelings because I do care a lot about the things that are going on in the world, in politics, things that make me sad, things that make me stressed, things that I empathize with other people. I worry about perspective on things, what's true, what's wrong, what's unjust. I worry about all that stuff. I think the reason that I was defaulting to a little bit of a glib, flippant, glib response is because I have been trying really hard to focus on my sphere of control. What are the things that I can control? The things outside of that sphere of control are much harder for me to let take up my emotional capacity. As I dilute my mental and spiritual capacity onto the things that are in my sphere of awareness, I dilute my capability within my sphere of control, and I become worse at the things that I actually can control. I become a worse father, worse husband, worse employee, worse reader, sleeper. And so instead of doing that, I've been trying very hard to focus on my sphere of control. Relatedly, I have spent a lot of time thinking about what my tasks are. And I feel like my tasks are a very specific subset of things. And I think that the thing that for me, going back to the concept of self-dissatisfaction, I think that the most important thing for me is working towards self-acceptance. And Adlerian philosophy is described to me in the parts of Having the Courage to be Disliked that I have read. Spent a lot of time focusing on self-acceptance is the key aspect of being able to do anything. Second is being able to trust people and trust that people are your comrades. And then once you accept yourself for who you are and you're not trying to live for other people, but you're trying to just do the best you can within the tasks that you have. And once you accept that people writ large are your comrades. There are people that make bad choices. There are people that do bad things. There are people that want to hurt you or take advantage of you. But your job is to default to trust. And I think often about a quote that I think maybe I heard from you. I would rather default to trust and be occasionally taken advantage of than default to distrust and constantly be distrusting of everyone around me. I'm paraphrasing very poorly and I don't remember the specific, but that is where I'm defaulting to. So that my hope is that by accepting myself, trusting that generally the people around me are comrades, they're not enemies, they're not political opponents, they're not people that want to do me harm or make fun of me, that allows me to then be of service to my community, to the world around me, to my family, be a citizen in the whatever the merit badges are, community, nation, world. I don't know. I have them. Eagle Scout. So why is this on my mind? This is the number one thing on my mind because before I can address any other issue, I have to come back to self-acceptance because once I've accepted myself, flaws and all, awkwardness, gangly features, bad habits, once you accept yourself, you are free to accept other people. Once you can accept other people, you can start to actually have a positive influence on the things around you. So that's what I've been thinking about. Courage to be Disliked, Covey's circles of various C words, which I think somebody told me is actually just Stoicism repurposed. Is it Seneca? Sawyer? I don't know. Stoicism. Look it up. So that's what's on my mind. And I wanted to share with you. I want to discuss with you. And I love you. So, brother mine, until next time.